Hey, good morning. It's Dr. James. I hope this message finds you happy, thriving, and well. Thank you for your time and thank you for your energy. And today's message is so good. It's so powerful. And I'm just the messenger. The good and the powerful comes from the living example of Steve Jobs. Now, recently there was an essay and a study that was done on Steve Jobs and actually looking at the brain of Steve Jobs. Now, Steve Jobs died a few years ago from pancreatic cancer at the age of 56. And that was a tragic loss in relationship to the community, the technology, and the Apple way that he did things as an entrepreneur and how he truly did. Like probably no other entrepreneur on the planet during our lifetime impact the world. And Steve Jobs may have had a lot of stuff in his personal life that you go, I don't know about that. But in terms of his professional life and what he did as an entrepreneur, what is it as a thinker and as an inventor, my gosh, absolutely a world-changing genius. So here's what they found out. So he lived to 56 and he died of a tragic cancer, pancreatic cancer. But when they examined his brain, they said his brain was an exemplification of someone who was 27 years old. Just 27 years old. 56 chronology and body, 27 in terms of his brain. And they did three things. They looked at different ways in which that he lived his life, patterns in his life, the way that he ate, and all these different things. And they wanted to give us all an example that we could look at if we are dedicating ourselves to having not only genius come through us and brilliance, but also having a brain that doesn't age the same way as most brains do. We know that after the age of 40, there's begins subtle decline. After 50, it's less subtle. 60, 70, it tends to speed up. But what Steve Jobs was doing during his lifetime that allowed him to have a younger brain, literally less than half his age, they said there were three things that he did very, very well. Number one, Steve Jobs did not spend time dilly-dallying in the stuff that used energy in ways that he deemed were not important. That's why Steve Jobs always wore the same outfit. He said that, you know what? I don't want to spend an extra minute in the closet trying to figure out what I'm going to wear. So I've always got my jeans, I've always got my black turtleneck, and I've always got my sneakers. And that's what I wear every single day. There is no loss of energy. So I think the first lesson is, what do we do every single day that we may lose energy on? And I have been called boring because I meditate, I eat, I move, I pretty much do the same thing every single day, and I never, ever get away from it. I change the things that I do, but there's a sequence which I do them, and there's no debate, there's no loss of energy, wondering whether or not I make the decision to do the things that I know work for me and help me to feel good. Number two, Steve Jobs was awesome at when he was starting to feel stressed or he was losing his creativity, he would take off his shoes and take it outdoors, walk in the grass, walk in nature, sometimes bring his team with him. And it was a way that he helped as well. He helped himself be more creative. We know that there's great research on fighting inflammation by being outdoors, being under tree canopies, walking and grounding ourselves in nature. All of those things help to fight inflammation and indeed help our brain from aging fast, fighting the inflammatory process. And number three, Steve Jobs was known to be an absolute dedicator to the practice of meditation. 30 minutes every single day. He never missed a day for decade after decade after decade. So when you look at Steve's brain and you think about his example, his creativity, his genius, his brilliance, his way outside of the box. In fact, scratch that. Steve Jobs never even saw the box. Let's get really clear about how he saw the world. And I think there's lots of things that you and I can look at from Steve's example in his personal life and say, well, you know what? There's some challenges there. Hey, listen, we all get challenges. But can we use some of those living examples in our own life? Bring them to life through the example of Steve's life, his brain's aging process, and some of the things we know about science today, and what he created with Apple and how it's impacted the entire world. So much good there, so much awesomeness to unpack in our own lives. So with that, don't spend time wondering what you're going to do. Don't lose energy in your closet. That's the metaphor. Number two, absolutely dedicate yourself to moving outdoors and being in nature every single day. And number three, mindfulness, meditation, and presence. Change the game. You may just change the world. Much love and every blessing. Have a beautiful day. Bye for now.